Well, that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. All of the intrigues, the backstory, if you will, of what may have transpired, to the extent that they tell us what we hear now, even though you hear the national chairman saying contrary to some of what you may have read or heard from the social media. But they've done, their selection. And so now it's going to be what happens afterwards. How do they pull together and move together? Can they, will they get the position, the top spot, win the elections? That's what this is about. That's what they want to do.
It's a lot of work, It's a lot of work. Well, PDP is the leading opposition party, but it's not the only opposition party. That, we need to... And so there are 16 other parties outside, other than APC and PDP. That fact needs to be established. But today we are talking about the PDP. So let's go to Abuja. Okay.
Well, thank you, Ayo. Indeed, as I did say earlier, today is the deadline for parties to submit the names of their running mates to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Yes, indeed, there is still a substitution period in which names of candidates can be switched, etc. But today was the day that INEC set for political parties to submit the names of their running mates. And we've seen the headache amongst the two major front runners in terms of the challenge they've had to face in picking a running mate. Yesterday, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party unveiled his, and it was the governor, or it is the governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. Well, we have with us this morning someone to help shed a little more light on perhaps how he emerged and what chances, what this brings to the table, because oftentimes when there's this conversation, it's about what the running mates are going to be adding to the ticket of the candidate of the party. Mr. Kasim Afegbua is a former spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me just confirm. Are you still with the PDP?
Up to this moment, yes.
Up to this moment. Okay, great. So yesterday must have been exciting for you because finally it was seemed that after how many tussles and how many, back and forth, who is it going to be? Eventually, the party was able to reach a decision that was pleasing, or maybe the candidate himself too was able to come to a conclusion because he was the one who did the unveiling. But can you give us a little insight into how it works? Because some people have said, oh, no, it's not the job of the party. It is the candidate who should pick who he is comfortable to work with in this situation. Is that correct?
Well, thank you very much, Malkwe. I think it's about time for us to begin to respect the institution of political parties in taking decisions. That's why it is called party. And that's why you have your internal rules and regulations that guide every process. The PDP has a constitution, and precedent to this political era, this electoral process, they came up with a guideline. And part of the provisions or details of those guidelines is that the party will be the one that will choose a running mate for the candidate of the party. There has to be a synergy between the party and the candidate. These are contained in the guidelines that guided all these processes of primaries, choice of candidate, and VP and all of that. Now, the party in its wisdom set up a panel, I think about 19-member panel. They took representative from the Governors Forum. They took representative from the National Assembly, Board of Trustees, NEC, and National Working Committee. And after all deliberations, they put the issue into vote. And Governor of Rivers State, Wike, got 16 votes. Governor of Delta got 3 votes. They're among the names that were presented to them. Now, they didn't stop there. They also formally wrote and gave the recommendation of that report to the candidate. But the national chairman of the party has a different motive. And I can tell you that he single-handedly, endorsed issue of Okowa emerging, because it's like a minority candidate becoming the majority.
When you say he single-handedly,
Yeah.
some people will say that's far-reaching, because it was seen that maybe that was what was going around, and he had to clarify. If you listen to the report, the meeting which held yesterday, during which there was an announcement of the candidate's running mate, he said that the party did not pick any candidate. Now, what the party did was narrow it down to 3 people. We can play the track, just the track of the national chairman for you.
I heard him.
And he said the party picked 3 candidates, narrowed it down to 3 candidates,
okay.
and that the candidate eventually reached his decision. And you can hear it was saying that the candidate wasn't disputing that. He listed the attributes he was looking for, and he picked his running mate.
I've said it from day one.
Yes.
That Dr. Yuchayu is working from answer to question, and is working in cahoots with the candidate of the party. Don't forget that after the convention, when he visited Tambua at home, he said he's the hero of the convention. A chairman that should be fair to all participants shouldn't be uttering such kind of words. He's already shown his biases. That's one. Secondly, IU cannot come out now and be telling us stories when we are part and parcel of the opposition. We know what is happening in PDP. I'm not an outsider. I'm an insider in PDP. It's very wrong for him to say that. He and the candidate met to take this decision. I'm telling you, even as we speak now, there are a lot of anger going on. There are a lot of people who are not satisfied because it's like his own singular decision has torpedoed that of the collective decision taken by members who were drawn from different strata of the party's organ. And to that extent, it is already, even today, this morning, I've gotten about 3-4 calls of people who are saying that IU has a window between now and today, the 12 midnight, to reverse that decision, or something else will begin to happen in the party. And these are high-placed people who were part and parcel of that particular process. Because you can't set up a committee, you put a chairman, you put a secretary and all of that. So you come out with a decision, then you as a chairman, you'd feel like you want to change that decision on your own in cahoot with the candidate. It's not done that way. But of course, we all know that IU has sentiments for the candidate, is the chairman of the party, but your decision cannot torpedo or override the collective decision of the party. When you say party, it means that it's a collection of people who sit to take decisions. But this was not the case.
I'm just curious. I asked you a question in terms of the comfortability, whether or not it is not the prerogative of the candidate to select his own running mate. No. From what we have seen in the past, and I think that even that came to play in the APC, whose running mate nomination we're still waiting to hear. We're seeing in front of Daily Trust this morning, they're saying something about APC nominating Masari as dummy running mate, maybe just to meet the deadline. But we from the past, and even what the current candidate of the APC, listed, in terms of how the running mate for President Muhammadu Buhari emerged, he was asked to bring 3 names. I mean, he was asked to bring a couple of names, and it was the candidate himself who chose who he was comfortable with, who chose a name to finally work with.
You're talking about the APC in 2015?
Yes.
That wasn't the case. Yeah, those are narratives of people who want to, bite the finger that fed them. That's the truth. I was part and parcel of the APC in 2015. I was a commissioner in Edo State then. You see, the Tinubu group had entered into an agreement with President Muhammadu Buhari that if we deliver you in the convention, promise us that you will give us the opportunity to choose a running mate. Simple. It was written in the letter, documented. So anybody who will tell you another story is also, because I personally pushed for Adam Soshomole to be the VP, and I know how the kind of persons I met, the kind of consultations I did with quite a number of stakeholders in APC.
But
so when people now come...
The point I'm trying to make here...
I'm coming to that.
Yes.
You see, the point is, You don't, a candidate of a party cannot single-handedly choose his running mate.
Indeed.
You see what's happening in APC now. You said you have just submitted a dummy, candidate, because the candidate has to consult with the party and other stakeholders. You see, when you say party, it means that there's a collection of people who your own singular wisdom cannot supersede that of the wisdom of the collective.
So given, and we heard the candidate saying that he consulted Wike. In fact, this story dominated the headlines for a very long time. The race is between Okowa and Wike. Oh, it's Okowa, Udom, and Wike. All of that, anxiety. And eventually it would seem that that's what the national chairman confirmed, that they eventually had to give him the names, and he picked who he could work with.
You see, Markwe, I am not used to, genuflecting when it comes to speaking the truth. Because it may be unpopular to a lot of people. It may be unpopular, they might not like my guts. But please, I will always tell you the way it is. I am not in any way enamored by the candidature of Atiku Abubakar ab initio, because you know my position with respect to Southern presidency. And so, if the opinion of the APC governors from the north supports that my assertion, yes, that's cheering news to me. But haven't come this far, and I've just told you the process. The committee was set up, and this was the outcome. Now, why are they trying to twist the narrative midstream just to please the sole decision they've taken, when in their heart of hearts they know that presently as we speak, that the party is boiling. A lot of leaders of the party are not happy. They are not comfortable with this choice. It may be you can say I'm not personally against Okowa as an individual. He has the credibility, he has the stature, and all of that. But I can tell you that I am happy that he's been picked because it is a weaker route. And because I'll prefer an Atiku Abubakar to lose this 2023 election. I'm praying fervently for that.
Why?
Why? I have just given you reasons.
That's certainly not how party people...
No. I'm not.
I asked you about whether or not you are still a member of the PDP.
I am still a member. As of this morning, I'm still a member. I'm very much still a member as of this morning. I can take another decision depending. But what I'm telling you, and I've said it categorically before, even on your channel's program, that in the event that another candidate
I will not let you repeat what you've said before.
Okay.
I'm going to take this conversation to Lagos. Gentlemen and lady.
Mr. Afegbua, so when you say the party is not happy, or members or some of the members of the party are not happy with this decision, and they had taken the decision which this announcement has truncated. So was it that they didn't know that this was likely going to happen, or they were just waiting up until this decision happens before they decide what to do next?
No, I'm just telling you that there was a committee that was set up, and that committee came up with a report, and the report favored the Rivers governor. It's in the public domain among party members, so it's not a thing that is hidden. Then, overnight, that particular report, was overtaken by one or two persons. And before we say Jack Robinson, you saw what happened yesterday, unveiling of another minority candidate, so to speak. So it is not that they had planned before. It is as a result of the outcome of yesterday. That was why you see a lot of the party members, in terms of members of the National Working Committee, are not there. Governors were not present, and quite a number of other, top, members of the party were also not present, because they didn't expect that to happen, because there was a report of a committee set up. But when they will come on TV now and tell you that, oh, the report is this, they twisted it, they did it, they did that. That was what they did on the issue of zoning. There was a report that was set up, they said they won't unveil it until a certain time. When they will unveil it, they said, oh, it is too late for us to stop everybody now because we started selling forms. So they always work from, answer to question and all of that. And this is what takes away a lot of credibility from the processes of even recruiting leadership for the country. If you are planting injustices and you want to reap justice, I am of the view, a very strong view for that matter, that it won't work.
Well, Mr. Afegbua, going by all the revelations that you have given now, one is wondering what, in your opinion, the consequences of this action are if a sizable number of people within the party, as you have said, are not as pleased with this decision. There are questions as to where is it coming from, and what could be the likely consequences? For instance, do you foresee a chance of people deflecting from the PDP to whatever other party because of what you call an injustice? Or what are the likely consequences that you see?
Well, the consequences will naturally come in different form. There will be definitely, I can assure you that there will be internal sabotage. And that is the most, terrible of all consequences. When you think somebody is with you, but inside him is not with you. And it's very common in politics. It's very common in political parties. So when you don't fulfill, you don't drive aspirations on the basis of justice, and you just feel that, oh, because you are the chairman of the party, you want to take decisions and all of that, or you are the candidate of the party, then they will leave you, say, go and do the candidate, let us watch you. We'll sit back and watch, and we'll watch how you feel in the process. Because there's nothing like collectivism in politics. There's nothing like reaching out, constructive engagement, collective bargaining, and all of that in taking decisions on the party. But the moment a candidate is becoming overbearing or overarching in terms of decision-making, then it becomes a problem. So people can sit back and all of that. Some of us who are very vocal will not sit back. We'll voice out our sentiments. We'll tell the public what obtains. And if they like, they can take any action against us. I don't give a damn.
But, for a long time, between 2015 and now, maybe about 4 years ago, there was serious internal wrangling within the PDP. And there are those who acclaim that Governor Wike was one of those strong personalities who helped to bring everything together. Do you see a reaction coming from Governor Wike as a result of this thing that you're alleging?
Well, first of all, I'm not a spokesman for Governor Wike. The man is very articulate enough to speak on issues, but you must give it to him that he's one person who has consistently remained on the party from 1998 to date. He has fought, very strongly for the sustenance of the party. He has also, invested. He has shown commitment. He has shown tact and support for every leadership of the party. But it does seem to me that the present chairman of the party is scared of Wike because they feel he will always speak truth to power. He will always speak his mind. People who don't pretend in politics, they are often lonely men. The people don't want to relate with them as such because they will tell you the truth to your face. But they like those who will massage their ego, who will speak high, sweet-sounding words just to massage their ego. They will, he's a good man. When somebody stabs you, oh, it's politics. Somebody betrays you, oh, it's politics. Politics must be played with some level of decency, with some level of diplomacy, with some level of credibility and transparency, so that the leadership recruitment process can also guarantee something that is good for the entire country. But when you see people, running in circles and want to make a difference, it won't lead to anywhere. Political parties are very important because that is the platform where you recruit leadership for the country. And the way and manner you conduct your business in the political party should also reflect the quality of the person who is going to come and how he's going to perform. If at the beginning now you are jettisoning the decision of a panel report, which you set up on your own without any encumbrances, you are already jettisoning it, then chances are that in the larger picture of the country, you are going to be jettisoning a lot of decisions that could perhaps have overwhelming impact on the well-being of the people. So for me, Wike will take his own action, but I, Kasim Afegbua, am an independent-minded person. I will take my action based on what appeals to me.
So, Mr. Afegbua, I'm glad you talked about decency, but sometimes as much as decency is found in politics, there's also betrayal. I refer to the statement attributed to you about the candidate who has emerged as running mate having betrayed the South-South Accord of Southern governors that the running mate should, the presidency, the presidential candidate should come from the South, by giving the support of his state to the candidate that has now emerged. But really, aren't all politicians sinners now, because the candidate that has emerged himself also betrayed the party, according to Governor Wike himself, which he told Oyo delegates when he and other governors left the party in 2015. So wouldn't it be a double standard by judging the Delta governor with the same criticism that can go back to the presidential candidate of the party?
Well, thank you very much. You see, if you have been following my trajectory since this narrative began, you remember clearly that I've said it repeatedly, that the candidate himself defected from from the PDP, went to APC, helped APC to defeat PDP, and when he couldn't find his way, he ran back to PDP, and he was given opportunity in 2019, because the PDP appears to be an organic party that just want to accommodate everybody and all of that. Then in 2023, again, I am one person, and I'm still against him. I have been criticizing, I have been speaking my mind out, and all of that. So I am not using half measures to treat one against the other. On Okowa, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, governor of Delta State, was the one who hosted the Asaba Declaration, where 17 governors of the southern Nigeria met and took a decision that presidency should come to the south. Now, in the course of all of this, taking into account that the governors are from two dominant parties, APC and PDP, we have 8 parties in the south and 8 governors in the south from PDP and 5 in the north. So those 8 of them in the south from PDP have also been meeting to push that narrative. But midstream, Dr. Okowa took a different turn. We know very clearly and visibly that within the PDP, he supported Atiku Abubakar. And instead of supporting a Wike or supporting an Anyim, Pius Anyim, or some Afegbua or other aspirants, he supported Atiku Abubakar and all of that. I'm not going to complain or maybe fault his right to choose, but having hosted a declaration where it was agreed among the southern governors that presidency should come to the south, I thought he should have worked for the success of that rather than going through the back door to work for a northern aspirant who would finally emerge as the presidential candidate. And that is why I won't support Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I won't support Okowa. I only have one vote. You can't deny me that vote. I will just use it, whether it is effective or not, no problem. I like to hold positions that clears my conscience from conflict. I don't like double standard. I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like gerrymandering and horse trading. I'm a straightforward person. I will speak truth to power. Whether it is popular or not, I don't give a damn. I want to please my conscience, and that is how I want to be documented in history.
Okay, now that this is your position, this makes let's say questioning a little difficult now, because your bias is clear, and it certainly means that you cannot give an objective analysis as to what value the vice presidential candidate will be adding to the ticket of the presidential candidate, because you already just see that you don't even see any value that he could add in the first place.
No. You see, I'm very objective, and Okowa hasn't been a governor, a senator, commissioner in Delta, chairman of local government. Of course, he has Ghana experience, no doubt about that. But I am happy that he won't be able to garner the votes, because I don't want anything that will add value to the ticket.
Why do you think he will not be able to garner votes? I mean, in the South region, for instance, in Delta State, he is currently the governor. You know how
I hope you are aware.
You know how tough the politics of Delta State is.
Oh, thank God you
For
said
him
that.
to emerge as governor, doesn't it? I mean, and a 2-term governor at that, doesn't it show his political standing in the state?
I'm sure you are aware that even Delta PDP now is also in crisis. Mm-hmm. They may deny it in the open, but we know because of the process that threw up the governorship candidate.
Indeed.
So that on its own will affect the outcome.
There are those who say that, there's a whole 8 months that the
to
time...
mend fences.
Yes, to mend fences. There's a whole 8 months between now and when the elections will happen. And we don't even know what would happen with you. You have your biases today. Who knows what fence mending might go on behind the scenes. And tomorrow you'll have a different song.
No way.
I mean, it is, some people will say it is expected. There are those who will feel aggrieved. And I think that in the message of the vice presidential candidate yesterday, he did say that he doesn't think the governor of River State will be disappointed. I mean, if it's a game of politics and somebody had to emerge, the chances are high, just a moment, the chances are high that there are those who will win and there are those who will lose. And he already said he doesn't think the River State governor will be disappointed.
You see, Mark, this is where I differ. I also know, when you see glaring abuse of processes and all of that, then later you turn around, you say you want to go and appease the people. You want to appease the people. It's politics, betrayal, politics. You start by the back, politics. For God's sake, can't we play politics of decency? Can't we play politics of due process? You're talking about a larger Nigeria, and the recruitment process starts from the political party. And ab initio, your processes are faulty. What guarantee do we have that the product of that faulty process will be good for the collective aspirations of all Nigerians?
That's
the issue.
There's never
the point
any
is this.
guarantee.
No. The point is this. I've just told you, the party has a guideline. The party has a constitution. Even the constitution provides in Article 7 that there should be zoning. They discarded it, no problem. Thank God nobody went to court to challenge that.
No, they didn't discard it. What they said was that there was a different argument. There was a different perspective.
Yeah.
The current candidate of the PDP argued that, yes, there is zoning, but that if zoning were to apply, it will be that the last person whom the party produced as president was from the south of the country. And as such, the next slot should go to somebody from the north of the country.
Well,
that was his argument.
Was the candidate not the candidate of the party in 2019? So if he fails in 2023, 2027, he will contest again because the last occupant of the office is in 2015. That's what they are saying. Please, for God's sake, when they are trying to be clever by half, it is our duty.
It's an argument.
No, it's not an argument. It's clever. It's trying to be clever by half. It's our duty to point their flaws to them. The point is, the candidate in 2019, there was no aspirant from the southern part of Nigeria on account of that point you just raised. They allow everything to be a northern project. And they contested, and he emerged in Port Harcourt. No argument. Everybody supported and all of that. In 2023, shouldn't be the turn of the south to do that same process so that they can represent. Okay? Now as we speak, the chairman of the party is from the north. The chairman of the board of trustees is from the north. The candidate of the party is from the north. Yet, PDP has 5 governors in the north, 8 in the south. What are you talking about? How do you rally the votes? If you don't please the southern people, how do you get the votes? That's the point. So it is convenient for them to raise all of these arguments to try to justify why they have taken that position of jettisoning the provision. I'm also telling you that in the guideline of the party precedent to this electoral process, there are provisions on how to even choose a VP.
Okay, so, I mean, let's give it to you. I mean, if you say that I'm not a member of the PDP, I do not know the internal workings of the PDP, you have made your own arguments. But, I mean, for those who are looking, for the electorate who will be looking at the, who will be looking at development within your party and now the emergence of the vice presidential candidate. For a number of people, you talked about his merit. He's a medical doctor by training. He was a senator in the National Assembly for a couple of years, and
I've mentioned all of that.
Indeed, current governor of Delta State. And some people might think that he might have an experience in terms of, I mean, because Delta, we know, is a mini Nigeria in terms of the ethnic groups that it has within it. And if he has been able to manage that, such that we have not been able to hear Delta State is no stranger to communal clashes, and that has been on the down low. Yes, for a very long time now. And for 8 years, he's done that without any skirmish. Don't you think that there really is some value that he's bringing on board in being able to manage a country as diverse as Nigeria?
Well, by virtue of the constitutional qualification of anybody who wants to contest election, whether governor, Okowa has all of that. So eloquently, so solidly, medical doctor, first-class brain, and all of that. But we're talking about how to rally around the country to garner votes. And that's why I'm telling you that I'm happy for his choice.
Do you think that also, I mean, because I know that the party also must be sensitive to the fact that the Southeast, you know, has been left out of
this whole equation.
Yes, and if there's any group of people that should feel aggrieved, it should be people specifically
from the Southeast.
From the Southeast.
Yeah, that's true.
But quite a number of them have accepted him. We're listening to also a former spokesperson of the current candidate, Osita Chidoka, and he says he's quite happy with the choice of Ifeanyi Okowa as
was Osita Chidoka. Did Osita Chidoka participate in the convention? He was angry because his state, Anambra, has been in turmoil. So what is it? Why would he not be happy by his friends? You see, people, all of those ones are not. I don't want to quarrel.
No, my point is there are people who are happy,
you see,
and he's from the Southeast.
Ohaneze Indigo has issued a statement to say that they will not accept that they should not come and tell them that Okowa is Igbo by extension. They've said it. I read the statement yesterday and all of that. So there are quite a number of other groups from the Southeast. Okowa is entitled to his opinion. That is his opinion. Okowa is his friend. All well and good. He has the right to choose friends from anywhere. But I'm telling you that the sentiment that is gravitating around the party now is the sentiments of anger, because a process was set up, decisions were taken, and overnight the decisions were overtaken.
Well, we'll eventually see just how, you know, fences are going to be mended within the party. I mean, if we were to go with the level of dissatisfaction, but when his name was announced there yesterday, it was announced to chairs. There are people who were, you know, happy.
Well, of course, there are always supporters of bad causes and good causes. It's a given in life. It's about negative and positive currents. Both of them will ignite to produce electricity or light or whatever. But I am telling you that if you look at PDP, the gathering you saw yesterday, if they are going to unveil a governor as VP, they should naturally have at least 7, 8 governors to show support and solidarity. So this thing was just an ambush. But it's okay, let them go ahead. It suits my sentiments.
I don't know how, let me extend this conversation to how you see the elections really playing out, because it does look like right now, if you were to ask pundits or those who are looking in the crystal ball what they see, it does look like things look pretty complicated. There is no straight-cut answer to how the elections are going to play out.
That's true.
There is a force right now. Former Governor Peter Obi, who defected to Labour Party, seems to be what people like to say, he's leading a movement. He's not leading a party. And you can see a lot of young people who are enthusiastic about his emergence as a candidate. So he's there. And this is from the Southeast that is largely aggrieved. You also have Okowa Nwanso, who is leading the NNPP in the northwest of the country. He is a force to reckon with in Kano. So that is also there. There are also other parties. The ADC now has a new presidential candidate. Sadly, Mr. Kingsley, trying to remember his surname.
Moghalu.
Moghalu, yes, he's resigned. Yes, he's resigned from the party now, saying that there was irregularities and obscene influence of money within his party. But these are, you know, new emergencies which we cannot discard. From where you sit, how complicated, because we also see that the APC is yet to pick its own running mate. This question of running mate seems to have been pretty thorny, or seems to be pretty thorny in this 2023 elections.
And Obi too has also not
picked his own running mate, and today is the deadline.
That's what I'm saying. You see, it's always good. You know, the APC, the candidate of the APC is a thoroughbred politician. So I understand that he has to embark on some wide and far-reaching consultations to arrive at those decisions. But the point is, the 2023 election, just like you said, is a complicated one. And I told someone just in another platform last week that you might not have a straight winner at the first ballot. Because
you think we might go into runoff?
Yes.
From what you can see?
Yeah, from what I can see. Because we have 8, 9 months to prepare enough. But the real campaign starts in August. I think August 8th, thereabout. That means for 6 months, you're going to campaign for, you know, for votes. When you have a Kwankwaso from the northwest, understandably he controls at least majority votes in Kano, for a huge following in, let me say northwest zone, not just Kano. He has a huge following, and he has also spread across other parts of the country, because I've had interactions with him, and what I saw in terms of membership and followership, and all documented, I was marveled. That's one. The Peter Obi is a movement, but they are also not planning in such a way that will be able to produce votes. Now there's an election going on in Ekiti. Peter Obi is nowhere to be seen to support his candidate. That's a minus. And there are other states in the country that they don't have candidates at all. When you don't have candidates, it takes away from, the support you are expected to get. Kano State, 44 local governments, no candidate of APC, of Labour Party in all these positions. There's no, how do you want to go and campaign there? People may troop out, but on election day, people will also answer their father's name based on the sentiment they share with the political party and the candidates that are running for different positions, Senate, House of Rep, House of Assembly, and what have you. And so I expect Peter Obi to concentrate more energy in trying to get, good materials in all of these places and all that. The ADC you spoke about, Quincy Mogalu, the man who defeated him fair and square.
Yeah, Mr.
Dumebi Kachuku,
yeah.
Defeated him fair and square. I expected Quincy Mogalu to give him support as a young, vibrant man, very intelligent young man, and to also give him support so that whatever they can make out of that will make meaning. It mustn't be you all the time. You wanted to contest, you didn't prepare well, and somebody defeated you, now crying for over money. Nigerian politics has become heavily monetized, so whether you like it or not, you can't take it away. It's not just Nigeria. Every other place there's money. It now depends on how you use the money. So for me, in 2023, I'm seeing a runoff. Then Kwankwaso will take some votes off the northern axis.
You don't think that there will be a collaboration anywhere?
No, there won't be any collaboration. I can tell you that for free. There won't be any collaboration. Peter Obi wouldn't want to collaborate with anybody because the youths follow him. They are very resilient, and it's like, you call it a movement. It's really a movement. And so those youths are going to stay true. If he disappoints them, then he will have paid his political, he will have buried his political aspiration for life. So for me, I think it is good for Nigeria. It is good for Nigerian democracy, so that no one individual will come and grandstand over the fact that I have support here and there and all of that. Let them take bits and bits so that in the final analysis, they will be able to, collectively take certain decisions, trade-off, kind of. Oh, you are good, decide, okay, come and support me in this one off so that we can collectively run the country. As Nigeria is now, it has to be government of national unity. Anything outside that will just be begging the issue.
Well, we have to thank you this morning for your analysis, Mr. Kasim Afegbua, former spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you once more for coming on Sunrise.
It's a pleasure.
We'll take a break at this point, and we'll be back shortly to discuss the elections in Ekiti. They are happening tomorrow, and we'll be seeing just what INEC has prepared. Please stay with us.